Hi you guys, welcome back. So we are back looking at another board meeting, and this meeting was held in October of 2020. And so that was right before Tiffany became mayor. Now, what I'm trying to do is do a little series of sorts where we look back on the board meetings that coincide with the current month we are in to date. So since it's October, we will be looking at October meetings to see where Tiffany Henyard was at that time and what was going on in the month of October in 2020 and in 2021, 2022, so on and so forth. You guys get the point. And before we get started, here's a fun fact. Andrew Holmes also ran for mayor the same time Tiffany Henyard was running for mayor.
It's a serious safety hazard for residents of South Suburban Dolton.
Yeah, many of the village's fire hydrants are not in any working order.
Yeah, and it's not just the side streets, Ray and Micah, that we're looking at here. We're in a major intersection here on Sibley Boulevard, and a couple of safety issues that were pointed out to us. First one's right here, as you said, those fire hydrants. This one is not only sunken into the ground, but also sitting on what appears to be a 35-40 degree angle. Certainly not something that fire crews would be able to access.
Dolton is a great place, but it's bad when you really don't know the inside.
Among them is Andrew Holmes. Known by many as a community activist and victims advocate, Holmes is now running for mayor of Dolton.
And you say, welcome to Dolton? What are you really welcoming them into Dolton for?
So as we begin to watch this video, we're going to see Andrew Holmes giving his little campaign care speech, you know, trying to actually ask questions and call himself being assertive and things like that. So let's go ahead and start there, and then I'll chime back in.
And I'm speaking to the whole community here. If you have some information in regards to some of this criminal activity, some of the shootings, please contact the police. The police don't have to come to your house. You can come to the police station, speak with Sergeant Price or both of the deputy chief and the police chief, give some anonymous information so we can help curb some of this activity that some of these guys want to bring into our community, into our neighborhood.
Trustee Holmes, may I be recognized?
Go ahead, Trustee.
My question, was any other board members, trustees notified of this meeting?
Of the meeting?
Yes.
No. We initiated a letter for the mayor's office. I had personally contact with many of the residents there over the last year. I had the police department put the letter in each one of those doors.
So you guys, just so you kind of know what's going on, Andrew Holmes was known for being, a victim advocate. So if there was like a shooting or there was something going on in the community, he was a person that would go to the family members, and he would go and he would present himself as someone to advocate for the family, to talk to the police, to talk to the community. He was seen as bringing the police and the community together through the times of, high crime and unsolved murders.
Questions are being asked today about the unsolved deaths of two babies in the south suburbs. Their bodies found 2 years ago. Still no arrests have been made.
Joe, in an extraordinary sidewalk press conference, community activist Andrew Holmes frustrated with the slow progress of two cold case murder investigations in south suburban Markham and in Dolton, and he is asking the Cook County State's Attorney to intervene. Andrew Holmes drawing attention to the suspicious death of a south suburban Markham baby girl found 2 years ago in a burning and abandoned home. And another 2017 mystery, this one in Dolton, the decomposing body of another young child found in a plastic bag, but police unable to find those responsible, to the dismay of Holmes.
It don't take a rocket scientist for the state's attorney's office and the police department of Markham to get in touch with them and get in touch with Dolton, put this paperwork together.
So that's why Andrew Holmes is stepping up and asking the mayor these questions like, well, why weren't the trustees informed of this? Like the mayor was kind of stepping on his toes, basically, is what he's insinuating. So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of that background, and so you can kind of understand what this conversation is about. Let's continue.
I believe there was two trustees that had heard about it and they came to the meeting, and that was Trustee Steve and Trustee Brown.
Yeah, moving forward, because see, I wasn't notified, no other trustees were notified, and I think it's unfair, especially I'm the chair police and fire. I didn't get a call and wasn't notified. And I think it's disrespectful for the other trustees if they wasn't notified neither. This is we all are elected officials in public service. I think we all should have been there to represent and know what's going on. I respect the police department, but at the same time, we also can get information and forward it to the department too. And I think we should have been notified at this meeting, as we done had lots of shootings, carjackings, and a lot of other crimes that have been going on in the village of Dolton that residents don't even know about. And I think that was wrong, you know, for me not to know, the other trustees not to know. If there's something going on, a threat to a person's life inside of this village, there's no big eyes and no little U's. We all got elected. We're a public service. We should have been notified. We should have been at that meeting.
So you guys, we know what Andrew Holmes is trying to do with this whole little speech, all right? Because like we said, he's running for mayor, so he's trying to appeal to the residents and just trying to make it seem like he has it all together. But what I really wanted to point out was Tiffany's face. While Andrew Holmes is talking and debating back and forth with the mayor, you can see the wheels turning in her head once again, kind of like, I know this guy is not trying to take my shine because we know she is the one to campaign all the time. No matter what's going on, she's going to be using her voice to campaign for herself, to appeal to the residents. And so she's kind of amused with it too as well, knowing that, okay, he's probably not, more than likely, okay, that's what she's thinking. This dude is not going to win this election. Of course he didn't. We could just kind of see her silent amusement with it. And of course she can't wait to talk. All right, we know that. So that's coming up. Let's continue.
So noted. But, you know, I also think it's unfair when you hold press conferences about criminal activity that you got the information from our police department, which shouldn't have been shared with you because it was confidential information and it was information that was still being investigated. So when you hold your press conferences and hold these clandestine meetings, you never notify the mayor's office and let the mayor know what's going on, and or any of the other trustees.
Well, Mayor,
so it's a two-way street. It's a two-way street.
On this for the longest, and one thing I notice about you, if it's not coming from you, is a problem. We all must work together and stop thinking that we're bigger than the other person. We all work together.
I find this so funny that Andrew Holmes is saying this to the previous mayor, but yet we see Tiffany act the same way, right? If it's not coming from her, if it's not her idea, then she can't work with the trustees, even though she claims it's the other way around. If it's not coming from her, like the police station, for example, that she wanted to build, that she spent the $50,000 sign on, it was her idea. So she didn't want to do anything else with the Melanie Fitness Center because the idea came from her for it to be half a police station and half of a community center, which doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, so therefore Melanie Fitness Center is still sitting there deserted. There hasn't, there's no buyer for it or anything because she wanted to do what she wanted to do. But fast forward up to date, Andrew Holmes has nothing like that to say to Tiffany Henyard. He is just a yes man as long as he keeps his little comfortable position and gets what he wants out the deal. And then once again, we see Tiffany's little, satisfied smirk. She's really enjoying this arguing back and forth going on. We can just see it in her eyes. Let's continue.
I've been holding.
Why don't you
told me over and over again that you didn't want Dolton in the news. Why not? They got radios. You always think that I call. They have radios. They come in a minute and in a heartbeat, and you know that. They've been coming out here way before I was a trustee about crime. They get it off their radio. So no matter how we get the information, long as the information get to the police department, I've been working across the state in Illinois with law enforcement for years and ain't had a problem from no law enforcement about who I turn in, who I walk in, how they get the crime, as long as it gets solved. It's just, it seems to me like you got a problem when the media is out here and you think that I call, somebody else call, regardless how they get their information, they have radios. And from you being a law enforcement personnel, you should know that. So don't criticize another person or me or any trustee when the media is out here. Let's respect each other.
I got a problem when you provide information to the media before the investigation is even conducted. And on some occasions, you provided the wrong information to the media before the police can even finish their investigation.
And you're totally wrong, and that's your point. It's just because it's not.
That's not true. That's not true. It's been verified. It's been verified by the police chief.
If it's not coming from you, you have a problem with it. We need to take our hands and let the department heads work. Simple as that.
That's not true.
I am done with it. Well,
okay.
I have something.
The next thing on the agenda,
get upset
I thought you were done with it.
Yeah, apparently old Drew is not done with it. So he's just going to continue to go on a little bit about how the mayor doesn't notify him or the other trustees of the crime in the neighborhood and the information he knows and all this little petty stuff, you know. And this was his way of trying to debate with the mayor and trying to make himself seem like he is capable of doing the mayor's job, which he did a horrible job at. You know, he's obviously no debater. He doesn't have it all together when he comes to the table. And I'm not saying Tiffany Henyard is a good debater either. All she seems to do is yell over people and lie. Okay. That's all I see her doing. And that's easy to do when you're in a position of power. All right. When you know your seat can't really be taken from you. I don't even know if she just full out cussed everybody out and did the most. Would she even be fired then? Would she be removed then? It's just kind of like, where is the threshold at this point, right? We don't know. No one knows. It's like, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know. Like, how many controversies does it take to get Tiffany Henyard out of office? The world may never know. But hopefully we do find out soon, okay? But let's move on to the follow-up board meeting that's still in October of that year. And so with this board meeting, Tiffany and Andrew are still campaigning, but this time Tiffany is not letting Andrew have all the shine, okay? She just can't do that. She's not just gonna sit by idly and listen to Andrew get her shine. Let's watch.
Trustee Holmes, announcements.
Go ahead, Trustee.
Good evening, board members and residents. I'm asking that, we coming into the winter season. Replace all of your batteries and your smoke detectors. I'm checking fire hydrants and turning that information over to the fire department because we don't want a disaster going into the winter. Also, I'm putting in at the request of the residents and at the request of myself on 142nd and Woodline that those boulders and bricks be removed because of safety and because of a lot of gang graffitis all over on every one of those bricks.
So you guys, just to give you some backstory on what Holmes is talking about, let's go ahead and watch this news clip about what was happening at that time and about the cinder blocks that he's talking about.
The concrete controversy in Dolton. The village put up these massive blocks to make one neighborhood safer.
But the people who live there tell our Tara Molina the blocks are doing the opposite.
This is where 16-year-old Akira Boston was sitting in a car on a Tuesday night when someone started shooting. Tonight, her case is open. Dolton police still looking for her killer, but something else has moved into the neighborhood.
My first thought was, oh my God,
this
is an eyesore.
Concrete blocks surround the liquor store where it happened at 142nd and Woodlawn.
I served at wartime. And this looks like a war scene.
And people who live here tell us they've had it.
Now the people that are going to Moonlight are parking in front of their houses, blocking their driveways, and they can't park in front of their own house.
Tonight, joined by other members of the community, they're asking for a different kind of change here.
There was a crime committed here. Instead of barricading the community, we want more police protection, or at least surveillance.
If this happens someplace else in the village, are we going to put more barriers up?
We asked the village's mayor about that.
We had to take some action.
He says this is village property and calls these a safety measure to keep people from hanging out here late at night. An ongoing problem here.
This was an immediate solution to the problem. We plan in the future of putting guardrails there. That would take some additional funding. So the cheapest thing for us to do, since we had those barriers in stock, we placed them at that location.
Would you be okay with this if it was for safety, but it didn't look so bad?
Yes, I would be okay with that. If it didn't look horrible, because this looked horrible.
Now, what people really want to see here in Dolton is more of a police presence, especially in that area. That is what they told us tonight. They'd also like to see the owner of that business step up and increase safety on his own outside of this village fix. So, of course, We'll follow up on this.
So that's what Andrew was referring to when he was talking to the mayor. So he's basically calling him out, saying that, hey, you know, I talked to the residents and they're concerned about this and that. You know, the things we hear Tiffany do all the time. She's always door knocking, talking to the residents. She's so concerned about everyone else, right? But let's go ahead and continue, because this is when Tiffany chimes in and she questions Andrew's motives about him mentioning these cement blocks. Let's watch.
Seniors can't get to their homes because the streets are blocked up. Individuals blocking up both sides. They got to go all the way around to get to their home. And instead of getting into an argument with anybody that don't want to move, and for safety reasons, I'm going to be requesting at the next meeting that these bricks be removed. That concludes mine.
Next thing on the agenda is village administrator's report.
I do not have a report, Mayor.
Hey, Mayor, I have a report. I'm just waiting.
You had an announcer, Trustee Henyard?
I do. First, I want to say, Trustee Holmes, I'm glad you're talking about the center blocks, but it's just funny because when we was talking about it in the past, you didn't say anything about removing them, but now remove them. But you know, I'm all for removing the center block. So I just hope you mean goodwill for stating what you're stating.
So of course she had to call him out. You know, that's what she does best anyways. But you know, Andrew, he wasn't hard to call out. But then when I think about it and I look back at the news segment, I didn't see Tiffany there either, and I didn't see Andrew Holmes there. So she's claiming that, you know, she was against it too, but I find it weird that she didn't take advantage of the press being there and her speaking up and being on the resident side, you know, the whole spiel that she always does. She didn't take advantage of that to try to shine a light on her. I thought that was weird. Maybe she was busy doing something else. Who knows? All right, let's go ahead and continue, because she's not done essentially campaigning and calling other people out on certain things. Let's watch.
Board, I don't know if any of you know or recall this. We put on the agenda before, before you guys came, address 14424 Dobson. An elderly lady fell due to the sidewalk coming up from a tree that sits on the parkway. The roots made the sidewalk rise, so she fell and she broke her hip. I put on the agenda to get her tree removed because no one will remove the tree. So we voted for it, and 2 years later, the tree is still not removed. It's still there. So I'm asking again that she go on the top of the list and you guys remove her tree once again. I think they're going to be on at Citizens Address. I told them address the board. I did my part by putting it up. We voted for it. We all agreed to pay for it and remove it, and it's still there 2 years later. Mayor, my question to you was about the water department. Did you find anyone to run a water department as of yet?
We're working on that right now.
Okay, thank you. And my next thing is the town hall meeting. So they had a town hall meeting before the CAL meeting regarding 14200 Cottage Grove. Is there any reason for us not having it today?
The attorney suggested that we do not have until we have all the facts that could be conveyed at the town hall meeting, so they can answer all the questions that may be asked.
Okay. Well, I guess my counter to that would be, well, why did y'all put it on the agenda and you, Mayor, try to push that through for a vote when we knew we didn't have everything together? That's just for the record.
So I find her language funny because the way she's wording things, she's throwing the mayor out there. All right. She's putting blame on him for things. You know, the way she says, you know, the way you, Mayor, you try to push that out there. You tried to push us to vote on it. Girl, you are the last person to be talking about pushing trustees to vote on stuff. That's all she does in these board meetings. You constantly hear her just trying to get the trustees to vote instead of thinking about things and researching things and asking questions.
Problem is the board refuses to pay them or make them whole. And it's a shame that you will hold up their paycheck. It's just the same way if you work for Amazon or a different company. You will look for your check in 2 weeks. You will look for that manager if you ain't got your money. And I'm asking the board of trustees to have a change of heart to make these vendors whole. Anybody want to change their vote? Trustee Norwood?
Isn't it so funny how the difference between Trustee Tiffany Henyard and the difference between Mayor Tiffany Henyard are just so contrast? Like, it's crazy. And I'm sure the trustees now, they get so fed up because they ran on her ticket. They were there supporting her through this whole campaign, and they know firsthand how she used to put on this act that she was there for the residents, and she would ask the previous mayor for the paperwork and to come prepared to the meetings if she's going to make an informed vote. But now that she's mayor, all that has gone out the window. So the trustees have to be really fed up, and you know they get frustrated, and that's why they want her out of office. They are tired of dealing with it. I mean, it's got to be exhausting dealing with a narcissist in power. It just has to be. And I'm sure it's hard enough to deal with someone with narcissistic personality traits, just working with them, but let alone having them be the so-called leader. I'm going to say so-called and put quotes around it, because we all know she doesn't have a leadership bone in her body. But for her to be in charge of a town, a village, and then also be a supervisor in the township, but to be such an obvious narcissist, it has to be one of the most annoying things to deal with. And the trustees, they still deal with it because they're fighting to undo all the damage Tiffany Henyard has done to Dolton. All right, you guys, let's continue.
And my last thing is, as you guys know, I always have a cancer event every single year. It has affected my family in several different ways. So I'm going to have a cancer awareness pink motorcade on Saturday, October 24th. It starts at 10 a.m. for registration. If you guys are interested, anybody in the neighborhood, you want to come drive your vehicle, you're not going to walk due to COVID. So you can get in your car, dress your car all up with pink different items on it. My number is 708-963 2131. Again, 708-963-2137 is my cell number. Again, that is this Saturday, and we will be located at Woodlawn and Sibley. Inboard, anybody can come. I know that it has affected other people as well, so anybody can come to this event. If you guys want to come and support, please do. Spread the word. And also, Giovanni, I see you on the line. Can you put my flyer on the website? That's what I'm asking for. So I'm asking in a public meeting so the residents and different people will know. Can y'all please send it out so people can attend this event? Thank you.
So Tiffany just announced her cancer motorcade or whatever, so basically it's going to be like a cancer walk, but everyone's going to be in their vehicles. Okay. And we're going to get back to that in a little bit because the mayor also has an announcement of his own, which I think is so funny. But there was something else that she did towards the end. She addressed the media person, Giovanni. Okay. And she kind of had a little attitude with her. All right. Let's check that out again.
And also, Giovanni, I see you on the line. Can you put my flyer on the website? That's what I'm asking for. So I'm asking in a public meeting so the residents and different people will know. Can y'all please send it out so people can attend this event? Thank you.
So you see that little passive aggressive, could you please put my stuff on the website? Like, lady, who are you talking to? And this seems to be the pattern with Tiffany Henyard. If there's someone she views as a threat, that's a woman that is attractive, that is intelligent, and seems to be on their stuff, she wants to get rid of them as soon as possible. She just doesn't want the competition. She doesn't want anyone putting her in her place, because from what I could see and what I could hear for some of these board meetings, Giovanni was not one to just let Tiffany just walk all over her. And so they've probably had words and things like that. And that's why Tiffany's coming at her a little snide and passive aggressive when she says that, because we've seen her exhibit this kind of behavior with a deputy clerk in Dolton, and she eventually fired her, but I think she got her job back with the trustees, because we know Tiffany, when she does stuff, she just does it out of spite. And so it probably wasn't legal the way she did it, because she's constantly getting sued for, terminating people or blocking businesses. You guys know all that, right? So let's go ahead and move on, because like I said, the mayor has an announcement as well. And this is where the Politricks, okay, like Tiffany will say, this is where the Politricks come into play. Let's watch.
I have an announcement. We are also having a cancer walk on Saturday, October 24th. At the Melody Fitness Center. Registration starts at 9 a.m. $20 registration fee, pre-registration, and a $25 registration fee on the day of the event. There will also be T-shirts that will be issued for those registered people that are going to walk. It's going to be a 4-block walk. There'll be social distancing, and there'll be a 4-block, as I said, 4-block walk and 4-block walk back. That's 9 a.m. on Saturday, October 24th.
Mayor, this is your event?
It is.
Okay. So why couldn't we
go to all proceeds are going to the American Cancer Society.
So, Mayor, why couldn't we coexist with that? You know, I do this every year, so I don't understand what's the problem with the division as it relates to that. Why couldn't we coexist? Why do we have to do separate things if we both have the same idea, the same passion? Why couldn't we coexist, Mayor?
Trustee, I have not
asking.
I have not heard, and I'm getting ready to answer.
Oh, okay, so it's not too late to coexist the events. Do you want to coexist, Mayor? Do you want to do our event together? I'm willing to do that. Do you want to do that?
We're not going to do a motorcade simply because it's going to tie up traffic, and it is going to cause to have extra police on duty, which would cause us overtime.
So we know she doesn't care about police having overtime. All right. If you guys have been following this, they had the former mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, do an investigation, and the police overtime that has been given for, you know, Tiffany Henyard using the Dolton police as her personal chauffeurs, her round the clock security, has just been ridiculous. So she doesn't care about overtime, using up the resources and things of that nature. But what she is doing is she's gonna make it seem like the mayor doesn't want to coexist, like she says. Okay, oh, you don't want to work with me, I'm trying to work with you, I'm trying to be the bigger person. But you know, he explains that he doesn't want to do the motorcade, and he has a good reason for that. So instead of her saying, okay, well, we can do the walk together, can we do that? She doesn't say that. She wants to do her motorcade because she already has that planned out. That's what she wants to do, right? So she doesn't want to bend either. So let's continue.
I'm not sure, Giovanni, if you put it out here. I think it's been out for a couple of weeks. So,
a couple of weeks.
Okay. So at any rate, if you want to join us, you can, Trustee Henyard. But at this time, just that we wouldn't.
Okay, you want to do your own thing. I got it. All right.
So as we can see, she's obviously upset because the mayor doesn't want to bend her way, but she can't expect things to just turn around all rosy, peachy keen after she's been throwing shade at the mayor the whole time. Her whole time as a trustee has been going against the mayor, okay? She would constantly go against him, constantly, you know, call him out on things. So she can't be surprised that he just doesn't want to fold in and do whatever she wants him to do. Okay, she's trying to act like she's the bigger person. No, she just wants it her way. We know what's really going on. But you guys, that's going to be it for today. We will pick back up again on watching some of these older board meetings. I'll be breaking them down for you guys. And if you do enjoy my breakdowns and commentary on these older board meetings, please remember to leave this video a like. And if you're new here, subscribe.
You guys not doing y'all job as trustees, and every single time you come, you want to pick and choose who you pay. That's targeted. It got nothing to do with no deficit. It got nothing to do with we don't have the money, because we do. No, you don't. You don't control the meeting. You're not paying the bills. We're moving on. Why I gotta have all this controversy? Why I gotta have all this back and forth with my board? For what? When I put you in your seat, trustee house, trustee Belcher, never would have been a trustee. I the one made it possible for you guys to sit where you are now. And all I want to do is help the people. That's it. I grew here. The rest of them flew here. I say that all the time because I really care about where I grew up at, and I want to fix it. Anybody want to change their vote?